All right, 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM listeners, we are live in full effect right here, right now with the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend. We got Rich Tycoon live on the line. How are you doing this evening?
Tycoon, what's up with it, DJ Immortal, man? Man, what's happening with you?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Hope everything's all well on your end, man. You know, last year was a giant clusterfuck. Excuse my language, but last year was crazy, man. I hope 2021's treating you a hell of a lot better.
Man, it is what it is, man. We still pretty much confined for the most part down here, and so you can only move so much, man. But I ain't complaining. I'm maintaining. I'm healthy. The people around me healthy. My family been healthy so far, for the most part. You know what I'm saying? So I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed, and hopefully you blessed too, man.
Hey, man, down here in Canada, man, me and the fam are doing good, man. You know, we're on a state of emergency right now, so you know we can't really move too much. But other than that, you know what I mean. Everything's pretty much same as you. You know, we're all healthy, just confined in the house, pretty much.
Yeah, man, it's slowing everything down, but hey, it is what it is. We got to do that in order to push forward, you know.
I most definitely agree, but I gotta take you back here to the beginning of your career, man. Back when life was much easier for everybody around the world. But man, like, what actually inspired you to get into the music industry initially?
Man, I was just, I came up in East Oakland, and I was going to middle school, and I was fortunate to go to school for quite a few years, from elementary all the way up to middle school, with an Oakland legend named Dangerous Dame, and another cat named Little Rob. Dangerous Dame actually made a song about, rest in peace, Little Rob. Little Rob, he got killed in East Oakland, like, man, he wasn't even 17 or something, you know what I'm saying? So he died as a youngster. Dangerous Dame, my other classmate, he was writing raps and they was rapping, man, and I just wanted to kind of be as cool as them. They could break dance, and I tried to do the break dancing thing, but I wasn't really the greatest break dancer, so I started writing raps, you know what I'm saying? So I could just be able to spit something at lunchtime when we was in that circle. So that's what really inspired me was, the people I was seeing doing it. Shout out to Dangerous Dame and, Lil Rob at that time. It was very few cats in the streets that was rapping. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, it's just dudes around me,
And also, man, taking you back to the year 1989, I saw a picture on your Facebook from your first rap group by the name of TIP Posse, man. I was wondering, if you could tell us the story behind that group, man, and of course, how did you meet the other members?
Man, long story short, I got in a little trouble in Oakland, and they sent me to a group home. Eventually, I ended up at a group home in Castroville, California, and I went to a high school called North Monterey County for a few years, man, and while I was down there, you know how it is, just because I'm out of the town don't mean I'm going to stop making music. So I met it's basically my partners that I hung around with, DJ Carr, my partner Mike, my other partner Rob G, he was part of the group, and then my partner Kuma, who was calling himself K-Rhyme at the time. We was all either playing sports together or just hanging out, and so it was kind of came natural. I was the one that was rapping. Rob G had some rap experience, and Kuma was just had that whole little personality and everything, man. And then Mike was the kind of the talker of the crew, and so we was all in high school, man. And one thing that I think that got put into my head back then, or just from seeing kind of the blueprint of Too Short in Oakland, was, man, trying to be kind of professional about whatever you do and whatever stage you at. You know what I'm saying? So we had a local group, but here go the thing, though, is I was in a journalism class, so I was plugged with the photographers and the people that was actually, printing up posters and flyers for our school. We was fortunate enough to have a full print shop at that high school where I was there for about a year and a half. And so, yeah, man, that was my rap group, and we was fortunate to do a couple shows, and man, word was spreading. That was them was good times, man. And if I could say anything, aside from me putting pen to paper, that's really where it started for me. Is that picture right there with the TIP posse. You feel me? As far as really, you know, putting myself out there and trying to jump on a stage and have a little crew. You know what I'm saying? And we did some things, man. And it was very monumental time in my life. And, man, it's actually a blessing that you brought that up. I'm loving to walk down that memory lane, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's the story.
And before we move off the topic, the topic of TIP Posse, man, I was wondering, you know, like you said, you guys did shows. Did you guys ever actually record any records? And if so, where can our listeners actually check those out? Like, are they actually available on the net somewhere to actually track down?
Man, you know what? I think the only thing we actually was just did a couple shows, and we never really got into a studio as a collective. You feel what I'm saying? And so my first demo would be through that same dude, one of the dudes in the group named DJ Carr, Mike, you feel me? Or Money Mike, Moss Mike, that's what he's trying to call himself now. You feel me? Down there in Moss Landing. Shout out to Mike. Well, Mike knew this other cat who sang, and his name was Peter Moore, and he was actually plugged with some people that was, you know, kind of in the music business, whether they was promoting or whatever. I can't remember. But that was the first time, and that was during that time period, that was the first time I actually can remember getting into the studio around that time. And what I did for Peter was lay about 8 bars, you know what I'm saying, on a song that he basically was putting together a demo for a record label back then. And so that was my first experience. So it came at that time, but at the same time, it didn't come necessarily from the group. You feel me? Like, our group was pretty much, man, we practicing and we writing, and that's the song. We couldn't afford to get into the studio back then. We only had to plug up photographers and you know, print up stuff, people. You feel me? So, yeah, man, it took a minute for me to get into the studio, but that was the first time around that era was probably, with Pete and with Mike.
And also, jumping ahead in the timeline a little bit, taking you to around 2005, you actually co-founded the rap duo called Black Business. I was wondering, what's the story behind that duo, and of course, how did you actually meet the other member?
Man, I met him in the streets, and when I say the streets, it was like wherever we was at, you feel me? Like, whether it was parties, whether it was at parks, whether it was just riding around. Basically, you know, I just met cats in the streets. And to give you a little bit more insight on Black Business, man, is common thing about us at that time period was we was all in Santa Cruz, California, but in all reality, the makeup of the crew was actually, you know, from San Jose and myself from Oakland. And so and we connected with some cats down there in Santa Cruz because that's where we were stomping in the streets and doing our thing. And we put together, me and my partner, P.O. the Prophet, shout out to P.O. the Prophet, we had both been rapping for a while. And kind of, you know, during that time to where E40 was popping, a lot of people in the Bay was popping. And, you know, either your money was right and you had access, or you didn't have no money and you didn't have access. So we was kind of going through that struggling period for a while, you know what I'm saying? And so we just, one day, I guess, you know, we kind of was doing all right. Both of us had our little money right, and we started, we just met, and we talked about doing some stuff. The person was like, man, let's throw together some songs. I got some songs that I've been trying to put out. He had some songs that he had been trying to put out. So that was kind of the concept is to put that together right there, put our material together, and just throw our album out there because we were so hungry and just wanted to do something that we wasn't too much tripping. But what we did do is get into the studio, and we made a bunch of music, and we didn't come with the name until kind of halfway through, or probably about a third of the way through when we had to press up the first demo and was like, man, what we gonna call it? it was grim times, so we called it Black Business, man. And yeah, that we made some good records up under that moniker right there, Black Business. It was real effective. Brought me back in a real way.
And I have to ask you, is Black Business, are you guys still together today, or did, like, over the years you guys just sort of part ways and went solo?
Well, long story short, you know, like I say, we met in the streets, and we both ended up doing a little bit of time. And throughout the course of that, you know, people grew, and ambitions and objectives kind of moved on. You know what I'm saying? And so my boy P.O. the Prophet, he kind of moved on in his life. I talked to him a couple months ago. He actually doing very great. You feel me? Got him a family now and a nice career. It's bringing him in some, you know, some career having paper. And so, yeah, man, and I think that the story with me is that, man, I kind of look at it like I couldn't live without it. I can't live without it. I got to make music, and in the way that I move, I got to put it out, and I got to be professional about it, and I got to follow my path. You feel me? So, no, we ain't together, but we still together, man, because I carry that with me everywhere I go on some real shit, man. Everything I went through with Black Business, as far as even being around P.O. the Prophet, man, Prince Lefty, I channel that. I still channel all of that energy when I'm writing my raps now, and so Black Business is still in my heart, and it's still pumping, man. And it served its purpose, so it's good.
And also in 2015, Sir Mix-a-Lot actually pulled you on stage at the Catalyst nightclub in California. I was wondering if you could tell us a bit more about that. Like, what's the story behind that? And of course, like, did you actually know Sir Mix-a-Lot, or did he just see you and be like, hey, yo, I'm pulling this guy up on stage?
Nah, man, it was, I had New Mix back in the 90s. That's who actually put out my first professional record a few years after the TIP Posse thing. Coincidentally, Peter Moore and Mike had moved up to Seattle, and they moved into some apartments with some guys that was part of Sir Mix-a-Lot's posse. You know what I'm saying? And just by coincidence, all of this happened, and of course, it just was natural that they knew that I rapped and was going hard with the words, you feel me, and the lyrics, and so they hooked us up, and eventually me and my boy E-Dawg, which is the dude who lived in the apartment that Mike and Peter was in, you feel me? That's who I did that first record with. He was Sir Mix-a-Lot's hype man at the time. And Baby, they had just got off tour doing the Baby Got Back thing, this, that, and the other. And so that's where we recorded the first two professional tracks that really dropped. And those dropped up under my alias, Filthy Rich. We recorded those at Sir Mix-a-Lot's house. And so, yeah, I've been knowing Mix for a while. And it just so happened that night, you know what I'm saying? I came down as a fan because that's what people don't understand is before I met Mix, like, I was at the teeny bopper clubs watching Mix and that posse. And so, you know what I'm saying, and learning and really soaking it up. And so it was a blessing when I got up there to meet the man. And so, and it was a surreal blessing. And the night that he pulled me on the stage, because basically I was coming there as a fan of the man. You feel me? Really, really understanding. What a lot of people don't understand about Mix-a-Lot is that he really traveled the underground scene. You feel me? And he built it. He built it just as Too Short built it. You feel me? Yeah, he had a little label behind him, this, that, or the other, but at the end of the day, Mix-a-Lot got out there and did the work. So fast forward to when he pulled me on stage, man, and it was just, I think my boy E-Dawg might have hit him or something and was like, you know, Rich out there. Told him I was, you know, maybe out there in the crowd or something, and he pulled me up to the stage and, you know, shouted me out real big, man. Said I was one of the best MCs he met, and that was a real blessing. That was a blessing. The real talk. Just that moment right there. And so, you know, once you really, really know where people come from, and I'm talking about Mix-a-Lot, a lot of people think he just about Baby Got Back. Mix-a-Lot paid his dues, and so, man, to have that love, it was good, and I appreciate it. Still do.
And I gotta say as well, like I had the opportunity to interview Sir Mix-a-Lot, and going into that interview, he's such a huge megastar within hip hop, you know, but he was such a humble individual, man. It was astonishing to me because, like, you know what I mean, he has so many platinum records, you know what I mean. The guy is pretty much set for life, but he was one of the most down to earth, humbling guys I probably have ever had the opportunity to chop it up with.
Yeah, man, and that's the best thing about Mix is, you know, he a real dude in that way. And, you know, the thing is sometimes you get all of that success. It's kind of like the MC Hammer thing. Sometimes it gets too big for people to really, really be able to fathom it, man. And so sometimes I never was the type of person to want to be in Mix-a-Lot's shoes, but really I'm the type of person to really soak up things when I really see them and really take it for what it is, man. And a lot of people probably, like I say, couldn't even fathom the pressures that's on you just to be, you know what I'm saying, that successful and having people coming at you from all kind of different angles and having to manage that, you feel me? So, hell yeah, and still be able to be down to earth like you said. You know what I'm saying? That's big right there.
And also, I saw a post on your Instagram from 2017 that you were actually named president of Slick Talk Records. I was wondering, how did that come to be for you? And of course, what is it like being the president of that label?
Man, you know, sometimes it appears. Well, this is what I will say. That was my partner's label, and he was forming his company at the time, Slick Talk Records, and he switched it up more to a production company at this point. But I do a little bit more than music, man, and I do know a little bit of something about business, and so that's what I was helping him along with, and really just there ushering him through that first initial process, man, and so that's what he wanted to bring me in as. And now, like I say, man, I never look at anything like it's too little, and so that's why it's always documented, and I take it serious. And so the great thing about it, and that's Track Star on the Track. He's a producer right now. That's who was the owner, formerly known as Slick Talk Records. I think he's sticking with the Track Star on the Track. He got a lot of beats right now that's on YouTube, and he's doing his thing. So, yeah, man, that's what that was about, you know, and just like everything else in the music business, one day it's popping, and one day it's, you know, it's on to the next thing, man. So, yeah, shout out to my man Sugi, Track Star on the Track. Y'all check him out.
And I have to ask you as well, what is next for you there, Rich? Like, is there anything I happened to miss during this interview? Anything else you still want to talk about or promote while we still have you here live on 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM?
Man, to be honest with you, I'm just looking forward to getting back out there on the road. You know, I really, past few months, it may appear that I really ain't been active and doing my music thing, but I'm telling you, it's in my heart. And what I will say is I don't want to go through just being an online artist and pushing music that way. I was really getting used to being out there on the road, interacting with people and the fans. And that's, if anything is fucked up about this whole COVID thing, is, you know, the cancellations of tours and shows and things like that, man. So that's what's next for Rich Tycoon. You know what I'm saying? Long story short, and I'm going to keep bringing music because I got a lot of music stacked up. And, yeah, I just didn't want to start dropping it during the COVID situation. And all I got at my disposal to promote it, you know, truly is being on Facebook or Instagram. All that's cool, but nah, that ain't what I got into it for. And so I wanted to save some of that good music and, you know, get my mind right. And so I'm waiting till we can put this thing in second and third gear, man, so I can push it all the way up to the fifth. You know what I'm saying?
And I gotta say as well, once COVID's over and you drop that music, we gotta get you back here on 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM, because I know you have so much information, it was actually hard to pinpoint what to bring up tonight. So I already know we have enough for a second interview, so I would love to get you back on here when your new projects drop and help promote this amazing music.
Most definitely, man. Hit me up anytime, and I appreciate you having me. I really do, man. And man, you stay blessed up there. You and the family, and y'all stay safe.
Most definitely, but also, Rich, this is the time in the interview that I give a chance for the individual, right before I wrap things up. Just a chance to give shoutouts to whomever they want to give shoutouts to, but of course your social media handles. That way our listeners can follow you and stay updated everything Rich Tycoon if they're not already doing so.
For sure. I want to give a shout out. I just talked to my little brother, Brandon. You know what I'm saying? I definitely want to give a shout out to Wifey, man. We out here in Nebraska right now, and she's grinding her ass off in law school, trying to really, really make it happen. You know what I'm saying? So I want to give her a shout out. Want to shout out my whole family, and hopefully everybody's safe, man. And shout out to Outlaw Radio, DJ Immortal. You know what I'm saying? Because it's big. You know what I mean? I appreciate you having me on here, man. And so as far as where to find me, y'all know what it is, man. It's Rich Tycoon at richtycoon.biz. It's that simple. Rich Tycoon, one word, .biz. And as far as Instagram and all of that, just go to richtycoon.biz, and you're going to find my Instagram, my Twitter, my YouTube. All of that is on my website, so check it out.
Hey, man, you already know. Thank you so much again, Rich, for just coming on 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM, sharing some great stories, and plugging your projects, man. I greatly appreciate you, and hopefully down the line we can make this happen again sometime soon.
It's all good, man. You be safe up here, and thanks again for having me.
You're most certainly welcome, man. You stay safe up there as well.